becomes like a billboard, right? And it's true, I hate the ocean, but I do love the beach. I love the beach. Happy Friday, my Friday fellows. So I saw something weird last night, and for once it wasn't in the mirror above my bed after a night of heavy drinking. I turned on CNN, and there I saw John King going through some pretty bad numbers for the president. And none of them even involved his IQ.
Look at how bad these numbers are for the president. Only 4 in 10 Americans, 41% at the moment, approve of his job performance. Nearly 6 in 10, 58% disapprove. That's a tough number early in a midterm election year for the president of the United States. Now, why is this happening? This is fascinating. We asked people, what has President Biden done for you that you approve of? 56% of Americans, nearly 6 in 10 Americans, that means a decent amount of Democrats said nothing. They disapprove of everything that has happened.
So that's amazing. You know, if you're quiet enough, you can hear Jimmy Carter letting out a sigh of relief. Because that's a lot of people who say Joe's done nothing for them. And that's coming from CNN. So I would double it. I take everything I get from CNN and double it, including Brian Stelter's BMI. Of course, CNN defended Joe, pointing out that he passed that infrastructure plan. And King worries that the good stuff Joe did isn't really sinking in. Maybe because, like our Olympic athletes, we can't name one. But also, we're now a country plagued by random crime, hopeless violence, inflation, government tracking, and a disintegrating border. Where is this good stuff that we were promised? In the same poll about COVID, another 60% said they were angry, and 75% were burned out. It's like Joe has turned all of us into the VP's former staffers. No wonder Biden's minions are desperately trying to pretend he's been leading us all along.
The Omicron variant is in retreat. And that's not by accident. That's because under President Biden's leadership, a public health infrastructure was put into place to ensure that we can do everything possible to crush the virus.
Whether there should be blanket mandates for businesses and other public areas is a step that here in New York we feel comfortable taking because of the success of the president's policies.
Nice try. You see what's happening. As the pandemic comes to a close, they want credit for closing it. It's like when you help push a car that's out of gas, and there's always one guy who's just pretending to grunt. That's this administration. All noise, no pushing. But you know it's bad when even Bakari Sellers says it's bad.
When can Americans expect some relief from this soaring inflation?
According to Nobel laureates, 14 of them that contacted me and a number of corporate leaders, it ought to be able to start to taper off as we go through this year.
Yeah, it was a terrible answer, and I would tell them that if they were looking me in the face. The fact is that nobody that Scott and I are talking about want to hear what Nobel laureates actually say about the problem. In fact, in that answer, we would hear more about the solution.
Hate to say it, but he's right. Citing Nobel laureates while prices soar, it's like Jerry Nadler and skinny jeans. It's not a good look. Yeah, as if you're going to feel better when you ask the cashier why you're paying $16 for 2 pork chops, and she says, "Don't worry, Paul Krugman says prices will be back to normal next year." And it makes you wonder why this almost only happens under Democrats. Well, because thanks to some of the disciples in the media, they can. Check out this NPR headline. It reads, "Inflation hits another 40-year high. It's bad, but older folks say they've seen worse." Now, technically, they could be right if they were talking about Pearl Harbor, the Hindenburg, or scrunchies. But imagine if you use the "it's been worse" excuse about climate change or racism. Yet they use it on crime and inflation, the things that affect the poor and working class and minorities that they claim to protect. Look on the bright side. It's not an all-time high for murder, just a 25-year high. Right now, as inflation rises, so does mass theft, which is closing stores and forcing remaining businesses to lock up their goods and then raise more prices. Prices are so high, I was in a CVS in Times Square, and I saw Jesse Waters slipping 3 boxes of Rogaine into his pants. It's no wonder there's yet another horrible poll for Joe. According to Pew, only 1 in 5 Americans believe he will ever be successful. But this doesn't even register with Joe, who's busy competing with Kamala for who wants to be seen less. So the reason why Americans think Joe is doing nothing for them is because he's doing nothing for them. And his own loony left, whom he relies on now for everything, thinks the public concerns are laughable. Al Sharpton, of all people, says the government must end the crime wave. And he got mocked for it by the left. He was complaining how drugstores have to lock up toothpaste now. And really, the last thing we want is someone with a mouth as big as his not to brush his teeth. But lefty fiction writer Nicole Hannis-Jones says, who cares? There's always been theft. Also, coming out against shoplifting only encourages the prison state. And here I thought the left was okay with China. So we're at weird times when suddenly Al Sharpton sounds like William F. Buckley. I wonder what Joe has to say.
Oh boy, I gotta talk about this on a Friday? Come on. Greg Gutfeld, he's a wise guy. But, that's his job. So, you gotta live with it. I agree with Hannah Nicole Smith. She's a smart gal. Look, Al Sharpton, crime's been around forever. That's part of the whole deal. I mean, late 70s, New York, that's when he got his start. Come on, man. Did you ever see that movie? Taxi Driver? You talking to me? You talking to me? He was looking in the mirror. That's the whole thing. He was talking to himself. Those guys were great.
They were. Fact is, both dismissive attitudes towards crime and inflation are racist because both affect non-white minorities more than anyone. Stores close, prices rise. Who can handle that besides plywood salesmen? Well, also rich whites who just order off Amazon or send their assistants to another store. So the Dems are screwed, and they deserve it. Here's why. You can't obsess over woke concerns and also fight crime or inflation. The hard left priorities have taken up all the shelf space in Joe's limited brain. So there's an opportunity cost to this identity politics, and ironically, it's affecting the identities that the left claim to defend. So you got an aimless, unconcerned president who seems to be the only person that wants to go to vacation in Delaware in winter. You got a media and party trying to salvage a dying administration. And you have an emboldened left who think crime is what you deserve. Remember when the press said this was going to be so much better than Trump? Who knew they meant better for murderers, thugs, thieves, and 2022 Republican candidates? Let's welcome tonight's guest. I call her ATM because she's always talking money. Host of the Evening Edits on Fox Business, Liz McDonald. He's an inspiration to the nation, and frankly, I'd like it if he joined me on vacation. Retired U.S. Marine bomb technician and Fox News contributor Johnny Joey Joe. This weekend, she'll be smoking a Super Bowl. Fox News contributor Cat Toon. And his high school senior picture is a Google Earth photo. My massive sidekick in the NWA World Television Champion, Tyrus. Almost fainted there, Liz.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, hyperventilated. It's kind of fun for a while, and then you get a little dizzy and hot and sweaty. You know, I imagine.
That sounds hot.
Yeah.
You know the safe word, Cat, if he does that again?
My safe word is more.
Okay.
You know, which is why no one is safe in my bedroom, Liz.
I'm sitting right near you.
Have you seen much of this Lester Holt video? What did you make of it?
Well, he was giving Biden a softball question using Biden's own words, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said it was going to be transitory. Meanwhile, inflation's sticking around for 7 months. But then, I feel like I'm back in a 1930s gun mole movie. He's like, hey, you're a wise guy. Hey, you're a wise guy, right? And it sounds like East Side Comedy. Or it's like President Jimmy Cagney.
Yes.
So when I saw it, I thought, weren't they going to put the president out back on the campaign trail to talk more?
Right.
And now he's yelling still. He's still yelling at people.
Yes.
And now you've got Obama, right? Obama's talking to House Democrats, and NBC ran out a headline. This is unseemly of Obama to do that. It's breaking norms for him to be politicking. So it feels like what variant all of a sudden got into the mainstream media to pick up what everybody's been saying for a while about how weird and off the wall the Democrat Party has been.
That's a great analogy. He is like the 1940s gangster president. Like, remember he called that guy fat? Hey, fatty.
Right.
Remember that? It was in that town hall, and that guy was like,
fat.
Yeah.
Hey, fat.
Hey, fatty.
Hey, fat.
Hey,
fat.
wise
Who do you
guy.
think you are, smart guy? He does that to Peter Ducey, our
Very
own Peter
right.
Ducey.
And by the way, his poll numbers are dropping the fastest since Hoover.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
brings you back, huh?
Yeah. He looks like he's in a vacuum. Jonathan Joey Jones, good to see you as always. Looks like you're letting yourself go.
I had a long sleeve shirt, and I heard Tyrus was going to be on tonight, so I cut the sleeves off, and I got a whole moment. Everybody's like, is Tyrus as big as he looks like? You hadn't seen the guy stand up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
All right. Put your tongue back in your mouth. I've never seen a match of public sentiment for an actual leader that actually fits perfectly, right? It's generally you say, oh, they're too hard on this person. I think the right was too hard on Obama, and I think the left was too hard on Trump. But this is like the Goldilocks? This seat is perfect. I think the people actually get this guy. Does that make sense at all?
I guess. I just wonder what his response would be.
That was polite.
If Lester Holt had said, "Is your son still smoking crack?" Was anything on the laptop true?
Yeah.
How much money's in your bank account from foreign investors?
Mm-hmm.
There are hard-hitting questions that are legitimate. He literally asked the man, "Inflation's still here. What's a short time? What does transitory mean?" And the dude was bumfuddled. He was all upset about it.
Yeah.
You're the president of the United States. You wanted this job.
Yeah.
People die under your command. As a matter of fact, apparently you don't trust the people who take people to war under your command anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that care about you answering questions, and you're going to call somebody a wise guy? It's repulsive.
Yeah. We got big plans for the Super Bowl, Tyrus?
Yeah, I'm going to sit in my movie theater and watch it.
Yeah. What time should I be there, and what do you want me to bring?
The jet for the moon leaves around 3 p.m., so be at JFK at 6 a.m.
I've noticed that
wait for my call.
nobody invites me anymore to Super Bowl.
You don't go.
Go.
Oh, that's not
But
true.
You don't go.
First of all, we live in different states, so it's a hell of a commute, and you barely like driving home.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And then you'll be like, oh, you'll say you're going,
Yeah,
you'll
you
plan
say
you're
you go,
going,
but then you don't go.
and then you'll go, oh, I got this thing, I'm writing this stuff, I got a monologue, I got that thing with Russia. But in defense of...
I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do. The nerve.
Yes.
I'm going to defend the president on this.
Go for it.
I mean, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Asking me stuff that I said before. Like
Yeah.
I'm supposed to remember what I said. I say a lot of stuff. Come on, man. Like, I can't be asked to remember what I said recently.
To be fair, he probably doesn't.
But Greg, I told you this was going to happen.
You did. You predicted
I
this.
said that they only wanted him to get in, and then the knives would come out for their chosen one who's sitting beside him, not doing anything and hiding. So now they agree with us.
Yes.
Now suddenly the jokes and the comments are messed up, where before they were heartfelt and he had a gaff and a small stutter. Now it's like he's unfit and he shouldn't be here and he's a disgrace.
Yeah, and they were waiting for Kamala, and that.
So we need to go the opposite way and go, well, he meant well.
Yes.
His heart was in it.
Actually, you're actually right. We should start defending him, Kat. We should start saying there's nothing wrong with him. He's doing a great job, so they keep him as the nominee.
Sure, he's doing a great job.
You're going to need to act a little better on that.
Yeah, I just can't.
You didn't put any emotion into that.
I do have that problem across the board in my life, but I will, because it's like bare minimum he could do. Like nobody actually thinks that inflation is going to be having any real impact on like the most powerful person in the world. But he can at least pretend to understand that it is a big deal for some people rather than just say, oh, it's this like academic ideal that he discusses with his other rich or famous friends. Just at least, you don't even have to care, just acknowledge.
Mm-hmm. Bare minimum. Yeah.
Like pound his fist, be like, damn it.
Yes. I don't know.
Or get that mad whisper going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's just inflation.
Why do they always have to do this thing at the Super Bowl anyway? Right? Since when did this become a tradition?
Yeah, why is it a thing now?
I don't know.
It's
the last thing I want to do is watch an interview with the president when, as a person who loves football, you know me.
Oh, yeah, it runs in your blood.
And you would know if you had invited me to your Super Bowl party. But
I don't have parties. I watch the game alone.
Yeah, well.
People always ask me questions, and I don't like answering.
Catch with Tom Brady in high school, right?
That's right. I taught him.
Didn't you teach him how to catch?
I taught him how to catch.
And when he was crying and upset about not getting drafted in the first round, it was you that said, don't worry, Brady, I'll make a call. And I know a guy named Belichick. We'll figure something out.
I told him that girls were pretty.
Yeah.
And maybe he should talk to them. And lo and behold, Giselle Bundchen.
Fair enough.
Didn't you call him up after the game and say, Tom, it's time? You're the one who called him and said, it's time, Tom.
That's what I did. He you know what? I should call him after this show just to see what he's doing. Maybe he'll watch the game with me. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.